Thanks.
Good morning, Dr. Hong.
Halo Pak Uwin.
Nice to meet you, Doc.
Hi. How's everything?
Yeah, it's good. Stanley, how are you?
Yeah, Stanley's here too. Stanley, unmute.
Apa khabar Bapak? Haven't seen you in a long
Good
time.
morning.
Selamat pagi.
Good morning, Stanley.
Hey Professor, good morning. Good to see you again. You're looking younger each time.
I know you keep me busy, so I got to, I lose my weight as I go along. You too, Stanley.
What the situation in Singapore right now about the outbreak of pandemic?
I believe it's under control, so I think that's good news here. But these things can can spike and turn around here. So we always have a mindful of what's going on. I saw my good friend Lena too on that call. Lena, are you on?
Hi, good morning. Good morning.
Good morning.
I'm trying to adjust because I'm using my laptop, so I'm trying to adjust the background. If not, you'll see the translucent.
You look like you're on the beach, Lena.
Yeah, usually I would like to use the beach, but I don't have the green screen, you know. So I think I can only use the original. Yeah. Hi, สวัสดีค่ะ Seems like a very big class, huh, Dr. Robert?
Yes, thanks to the teams in Indonesia and Thailand and Singapore, I think that we have an excellent turnout. I think over the weekend we had to try to increase the Zoom license, which is a good.
I think that's a good problem to have. Yeah.
So I think the teams. So we had a lot of help from the university to make things happen. So we're very grateful for their support. Let's hope things go well. Yeah.
Sure. I think have you met Miss Nongnu from the Thailand Eastern Economic Corridor? She is one of our guest speakers. I thought if you come in earlier, you would have met her.
Ah, okay.
Actually,
I'm not. And let me introduce you at the same time to a good friend from Indonesia. This is Pak Irwin.
Good morning, Excellency.
Hey, good morning.
Good morning.
Good to see you.
Good morning, Lina.
Good morning. Good morning. Yeah. It's always such a pleasure to talk to Miss Nongnu because she's always full of energy, you know.
Oh.
We need all the energy and
Feels
just like
good
my
before I
good
talk to
friend
her,
here.
you know.
So we got two energetic people from Thailand and Indonesia, and of course I'll try to match your energy.
Yeah, but I think we cannot compare to Lina. She's very young and energetic.
I've known her forever.
Yeah. Thank you for arranging this quite useful program. I think we have a number of Thai participants in this program.
Excellent. And let me introduce you to Mr. Lee. Stanley, he's the one who's supporting the program. Yeah, so Stanley, you want to say something? I think you're on mute, Stanley.
Bob, it's not me, it's the foundation. There's a whole
I
team
know,
of us.
but the foundations or organizations, it's the people who make things happen.
Yeah, and my boss is actually on the screen at the moment, Benedict. Yeah, he's the man behind all the support.
Mr. Chong.
Yes, call me Benedict. Thank you. Good morning, everyone. Good morning.
Good morning. Good to see you.
Morning.
Good to see you. You were hiding behind the screens.
I always go into eavesdrop, then I know what's happening. So I can.
Thank you for your support. Yeah, thank you for your support. Let me introduce you to good friends from Indonesia and Thailand. Yeah, so Pak Irwin is at the ministry in Indonesia, the Republic of Indonesia. Pak Irwin is there. Yeah. And
Good morning.
Selamat pagi. Selamat pagi. Yes.
Selamat pagi.
Yes.
And good friends from Thailand too. Lina Notwood from
Sawadika.
they have been helping us to promote the event, so which has made it very successful, Benedict.
Thank you. Sawadika.
Sawadika. Hi, Benedict. I've always been interested in your, the retail, heritage retail, right? That is so fantastic when I look at the news, Yeah.
I promise you, when you can travel and you come to Singapore, I will host you.
Definitely. I'm a Singaporean. I miss home,
Oh, okay.
I've not been home for 1.5 years. Yeah.
Oh, 1.5 years. Then you must come back and see this. Yeah. And also.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Excellency Nongnu also, when you come to Singapore, please be our guest and we will host you.
Oh, thank you. In fact, I went to Singapore many times in the past. So next time, I'll make sure I'll see you.
I'll make sure that I'll bring her to eat the most famous chili crab and also the bak kut teh, because she has been very supportive.
Okay. That's good.
Always good.
I can actually support the bak kut teh, but not the chili crab. Yeah. As you know.
Crab in the market.
Bob,
Yes.
I will call our attendees from Indonesia.
Yes, please.
There is Pak Imam Wahyudi from Cikarang, and also Pak Ridwan from Inaka.
Yes,
Morning,
please
Pak.
let them speak. Oh, they are good friends again from Cikarang. Good to see you.
Bob.
Yes.
Yeah, nice
How
to
are you
see you.
doing?
Morning.
Hey, great. We are in good condition right now, but yeah, unfortunately, the COVID is make us not get mobile or something. So, we need more good news for the future, actually, Pak.
Yes.
With current situation.
Yes, we all need the good news, and we need good solutions too. So Pak Irwin, who are the others from Indonesia? Share with us.
Yeah, also Pak Henry Roswoto from one of please Pak Henry.
Okay, good morning to everyone.
Good morning, good to see you.
Good morning.
Yeah, I'm really glad to be able in the middle of all of you, and then hopefully we can share and discuss later on. Okay, thank you.
Wonderful. Thank you for joining us this morning. And as you can see, we have a lot of folks from around ASEAN, which is actually very, very good. Yeah. I was told this morning that we have almost all the ASEAN countries represented.
Bob, we also have participants from vocational high school from several places in Indonesia. It is a new program
Yes.
in logistics.
Excellent, excellent.
Yeah.
I wish I was there to do it in person.
There is from Carl. Silakan Pak. SMK Carl. KAL. Good morning, Zaba.
Good morning. Sorry, it took me a while to get.
There you are, my good friend.
Robert, hi.
I'm good.
Long time no see.
Yeah, long time no see in person, I guess. Yeah. Good to see you. Thank you for joining us.
Sama ini bisa diberikan ini memberikan kita masuk
Friends from ACDM and SCDF on board.
Selamat pagi Bu Erika. Unmute Bu.
We also got Spako, and we also got speakers from all around the world. Yeah. We have Ms. Thompson, right, from E2Open. Are you there?
I'm here.
Oh, good.
Oh.
Welcome. And
Nice to meet you.
apologize for taking you away on a Sunday.
Well, no problem. We've been looking forward to speaking with you all.
Excellent, excellent. And
Thank you for having us.
thank you. And we got Nathan. Another speaker is coming on board too. And we got a lot of very good industry participation and speakers this afternoon. Yeah. So I think we are just going to wait for a few minutes, and then we'll launch. But we are all friends, so we'll keep it informal. Is that okay with all of you? Spark Irwin?
Yeah.
I think you know us all very well. You've been working with us for so many years. You know our style. You know my style. Lena, is that okay with you?
Yeah, definitely, but better with a glass of beer.
Orange juice for me, I can't drink anymore.
Actually, Bob, Coca-Cola, right?
Coca-Cola, you remember? You watch me this afternoon. I'll have my cans all lined up. Yeah, I understand. When if you're watching the soccer, that's one of the placement ads.
But Irwin, he respect, especially beautiful lady.
Yeah.
It's a shame we can't all meet in a room and kind of like engage more fruitfully. I think we got 195 on board so far, and there's going to be a lot more joining in. Yeah, so yeah. I also know that the time zones are quite different, and internet connectivity is not great, including for us here, because it's actually sometimes they decide to do the roadworks outside, and I've just been told this morning that we'll have roadworks in an hour, so I'll have to put my microphone off. Working from home is a new experience.
Also, from ACDM Singapore.
Yes, I was looking for my friends from ACDM and SCDF. Are they on board?
Yes, good morning, ACDM.
Good morning, good morning, how are you?
Good morning to everyone.
Good morning.
Good morning.
And I guess you know everybody.
I sort of know everyone after hearing all the conversations.
So let me do a quick round of introductions of the major people here. Some of them are giving their time to us this morning. There's Supak Irwin from the ministry, the coordinating Ministry of Economic Affairs, so Deputy so Supak Irwin is there. Lena, Chief Investment Officer from Amata. There's also Mr. Chong from the Temasek Foundation, known as Ben. So I'm known as Bob, as you know me very well. And so all these folks are on board. So please say something. Yeah. As you know, if I was there, I'll be introducing all of you so that we could stay informal. We're waiting for our friends from AHA Center. Are they on board?
Hi. I've been here listening to the conversations.
Adelina, good to see you. Good morning.
It's been interesting conversation. So thank you for letting me to listen.
We're keeping everybody, awake for the long day ahead and for tomorrow too. I'm sure a number of folks will join us as they go on. Something we always say when we're in class is, who's not here?
Dr. Robert, despite COVID, I think a lot of people still look very good. The face look good, working from home, So the secret to good health, maybe I will invite Miss Nong Noot to share, because she always, keep very energetic, and she had 2 doses of vaccination already, and still very strong.
Doesn't mean that I'm safe.
Excellent. You'll have to share the secrets with us.
No, not really. Don't trust Lena too much when she talk about me.
I still got my gray hair. It's not gone away yet.
Yes.
So let me just check with Yong. Yong, are we on target?
We are supposed to start at 10.
We'll give it 1 or 2 minutes. That's not
okay.
a problem.
Okay, sure. We don't have all the participants with us yet. Like you have mentioned, due to the time difference, it's really quite early in some of the countries.
Yes. And I know that they'll come on board as we go through the day. Yeah.
Ini apa yang saya pilih siapa bang? Kalau aku salah siapa?
Tiga.
Bukan ini. Kalau misalkan itu.
Good morning, thanks to me all.
Good morning.
Seorang orang people from SMK Kal 1 Surabaya, Indonesia.
Hi, good morning.
Hai, ya.
Morning.
Selamat pagi Pak.
Pagi.
Kayaknya nggak tahu juga bisa nih. Kayaknya sama. Iya. Tapi nggak masih kau juga bisa.
Terus.
Good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
Pak.
I'm Benny Ismail from SMK Teknologi Indonesia. Nice to meet you.
Nice
Aman.
to meet you. And we got some good friends from some of the universities and companies too. So some of the universities are represented from around the region.
Lena. Udah di home page sih, usah sehari mana, aman.
Good morning Pepe. You have a good coffee.
Hey, Pak, yes, good morning. Very good coffee, actually.
Good morning, Pepe. How are you doing?
Very good. Hi, Bob. Good morning. Good morning, all.
Bob, we have 214 participants.
Yes.
Should we start?
We should make a start in the interest of our distinguished guests this time. Yeah, we should make a start at 10:10, should we?
Yes, boss.
10:10 Singapore time.
Okay.
Okay, good morning from the University of the Thai Chamber of Commerce in Bangkok. And also, good morning, Bob. And also from the Humanitarian Logistics Association, Southeast Asia representative.
It's always good to have you on board.
Thank you, Bob. Thanks for organizing this.
One of my good friends is Harlan Hale. Is he on board? Harlan, are you on board? Not yet.
Yes, I am.
Hey, Harlan, good to see you.
Let's see if I can see me. There we go. Yes,
Hey,
I am.
you stayed very quiet and out of the conversation, Harlan. How could you?
I was listening and doing some other emails, so multitasking. It's Monday for some reason. It's busy.
It's Monday, yeah.
Yeah.
So welcome. Okay, Young, you want to launch?
Okay, I will get this started. Let me just share my screen with you. Okay, so let's get started. In the interest of time, we have many participants who are not with us yet, but I'm sure they will join us, okay, quite soon. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Very warm welcome to all of you. We have with us this morning very distinguished guests from our partner agencies and countries, and many participants from the government sector, from universities, and other organizations. Thank you very much for joining us this morning. The agenda for this morning is the official launch of 2 programs that are supported by Temasek Foundation. The first program is the Urban Logistics Program that is supported by Temasek and co-organized by NUS, the Coordinating Ministry for Economic Affairs Indonesia, and the Eastern Economic Corridor Office of Thailand. The second program that will be launched this morning is the Disaster Management Program, supported by Temasek and co-organized by the AHA Center and NUS. So that is the key agenda for this morning. We launched the 2 programs on the same morning, as the participants of the Disaster Management Program will be attending all the workshops of the Urban Logistics Program. Okay, we have very good sign-ups over the last couple of weeks. Just a very quick update for all of you. The Urban Logistics Program has a total of close to 400 registrations as of this morning. While the Disaster Management Program has around 130 registrations. Okay. I will quickly just show on my screen the agenda that we will go through this morning. Okay. Most of you would have already seen this. Okay. If you have received the emails from us. Okay. Where the first to take place will be our distinguished guest will be delivering their remarks. That will be the first part of the morning. And after that, followed by the morning break. And we will have our invited speakers to share with everyone on certain selected topics, as you can see. Okay, and today will be quite a long day. So we hope everyone try your very best to stay with us. You will find the sessions, all the speeches and sessions to be of great interest, I'm sure. All right. So just quickly, let me run through a couple of things about today and tomorrow's session. We would like to request all our participants to please keep your microphones on mute when you're not speaking. And at times, we may request you to turn on your video cameras. We understand that for the sake of bandwidth, not everyone would like to turn on their video cams all the time. All right, but there will be times that we need to do a group photo, for example. Should any of you have any questions that you would like to address to a specific speaker, please send the question through the chat function so that my colleagues can take note of the questions and address them to the speakers. All right. And at the end of the day, we have prepared a very simple survey, a feedback form that we would ask for your help to complete. All right. So let's quickly move on. First, I would like to invite my boss, Dr. Robert D'Souza, the Executive Director of the Logistics Institute Asia Pacific, to welcome all of you. Dr. D'Souza, please.
Thank you, Yong. Thank you. Let me share my screen if I may, yeah. Just a few issues, just let me just sort it out. Yeah. Just give me a second.
Yang penting di sini, Kak. Yang penting di sini.
So Young, have you got my slides because it's giving me an issue here on the side? Let's try one more time.
Bob, would you like me to share your slides?
Yes, please, if you can do that. It's giving me an issue here because of it's saying there's an issue. So good morning, friends. So while we get the slides showing you up on the screen, so good morning. As you could tell in the while we were waiting to start, I actually introduced a lot of the folks. So distinguished guests, friends, today is an important day. It marks a milestone in the numbers that we have attending. This is the highest number that we have actually had in all our events. Yeah, so this is very, very good. Thank you for taking part. Now, as most of you know me, I don't make speeches. Because I believe that learning is informal, it's structured, but it's informal. So let me just first of all introduce the Institute. The Logistics Institute Asia Pacific is at the National University of Singapore. And most of you know us because we are one of the leading institutes in the region, in not only in education, but also in research and outreach. I am the Chief Executive and Executive Director of the Institute. Most of you know me as Bob or Dr. Bob. I think you will also know my last name is D'Souza, but most of you will know me informally, and I like to keep it that way. First, allow me to thank my friends who helped to put this together. Obviously, the coordinating Ministry of Economic Affairs was very instrumental in bringing us folks from across the region. The AHA Center also very, very instrumental, and AHA Center and my team and CMEA team worked over the weekend to make sure that everything went smoothly, yeah, especially with your registration. We have particular folks to thank too. We have to thank our speakers. They come from all over the world, and we had to adjust the times so that we could accommodate their time zones. But for some of them, it is very early in the morning, yeah, and for some of them, it's a Sunday, yeah. So I want to thank the speakers for coming in, yeah. I also want to thank our sponsors, if you like, because without them, this thing would not happen. And that's the folks from ECHO, yeah? ECC, the folks from the USA, yeah, because they have helped us immensely in trying to get their network. But most important thanks who have supported us to make this a couple of days happen is the Temasek Foundation. And Ms. Chung, thank you so much for your support. We also have to thank our SCDF, because without them, we would not have been able to have a agenda like what we have today, and especially tomorrow. Yeah, I have to launch the program, but I want to share with you that we have a lot of distinguished speakers from a variety of industries today, but they are not just speakers who will speak to us and then disappear over the time. They are speakers who are working very closely with us to build solutions that we can use today. So you will hear this afternoon from a number of them. They range from E2Open, Oracle, FTAG, yeah, SAS, Any Logistics or Any Logic and the YCH group. These are all very, very good friends of mine. Yeah. And I also want to thank Lena for coming on board and helping us through her organization at Mata for actually making this happen, and our friends at Trickle actually helped us too. So I want to quickly go through what we have ahead of us in this couple of days. Yeah. Now, if I can go to the next slide, and then I'll ask you to hit the buttons quite rapidly to keep me honest on time. Yeah. So please just go to the next slide. Yeah. Okay, so what I'm doing now, we have 2 days of activity. On the first day is actually very focused on launching the 2 activities, and in the afternoon, we are going to hear from the speakers who are going to conduct with us not only this afternoon's sessions, but they are going to actively engage with us in every workshop to help to facilitate these workshops. Yeah. Next. So we're going to launch 2 activities that's going to take us into 2022. Yeah. The first activity that we are going to launch is in digital urban logistics. And the second activity is in disaster management. And I'll explain to you so briefly.
Recording in progress.
What's the difference between these 2 activities? Yeah. So please, next slide, and just keep hitting the slides. Yeah. Okay. So what we have seen around us is an unprecedented situation. Normally in supply chains, we are disrupted either in demand or supply, but right now we are in an unusual situation where we are disrupted consistently in both supply and demand. So how can we address this is one of the topics that I put to our speakers this afternoon. Next. I pinched this from McKinsey, and this was just out last week, and you can see we talk about 2 kinds of curves, and we're going to see this conversation change. The epidemic curve, we're going to focus on hospitalizations as opposed to those infected. But the moment we try to suppress the epidemic curve, we also suppress the business curve at the bottom of the left-hand side of the screen. And so McKinsey put out 9 scenarios for recovery. Yeah. And these are based on the 2 graphs. And how are companies digitalizing in order to cope with this consistent disruptions that we face? And they will get lesser as more folks become vaccinated. Next. We in academia have done a lot of studies on risk management, and you will hear about this in the next days and in the workshops to come. When we see a disruption, how is that decline? Is it a steep decline in business activity, or is it a gradual decline? What is the recovery path? Is it actually going to be a U-shape, V-shape? Most folks right now are talking about a K-shape, where some will actually grow and some will remain very slow growth or slow to recover. So we have 2 ideas here. One idea is of robustness, and the other idea is of resilience. So robustness is the ability to withstand the shock, and resilience is the ability to recover from that shock. So we have to ask ourselves many questions. Next. So we have brought together, to answer all what I have shared with you, we have brought together all the stakeholders in the ecosystem. Now, many of you in your companies, you will implement digital solutions, but we are looking at how can we integrate all these digital solutions so that we come together as a community, and there is solutions. For those who can't afford the solutions, they can ride on the solution. And for those who have a solution, they can tap into the greater solution that we are putting in, is what we call in academia the meta level. So we have brought together institutions, agencies, economic agencies. We have brought together health agencies. We have brought together all those from government and We brought together suppliers and those who provide resources. We have brought together infrastructure providers and, of course, all the rest of the supply chain actors from suppliers and manufacturers and 3PLs. Yeah, all of them have to come together to create value. And how should they create value is the topics that we will discuss later this afternoon and deep dive over a series of workshops. Next. So we're going to launch the first activity, which is it's got a long name, which is the EEC, CMEA, TF, NUS. All of them are going to come together to help us to launch a digital urban logistics program. Next. What is this going to achieve? We are going to talk about a number of activities that come together in a very great technology stack to reduce cost and make it very responsive. We're going to talk about logistics execution across an ecosystem, not what you already do. How can you share underutilized resources or resources that you need but don't have? How can we put this together and execute more comfortably across an ecosystem? What should be a transaction layer that does this? We are going to talk to you about e-commerce across a system which is a meta-level e-commerce of e-commerce. We're going to talk to you about blockchains. Yeah, we're going to talk to you about digital twins, and we have a speaker talking to us, and we have built so many digital twins. But this digital twin is also going to take in real-time information. On top of it, we're going to have the control towers. And the control tower is a control tower of control towers. Yes, so every company in its supply chain will have a control tower, but we are building a meta-level control tower so that you can ride on it and you can join it as a club. And at the top level, we as important decision makers, all of us on this call, we have to have information filtered to us in actionable ways, and that is through dashboards. The dashboards give us very carefully orchestrated information so that we can make the decisions very smoothly and very rapidly. Next. So we have this activity, and I must urge you that a number of you have signed up for this activity to stay with us through all the workshops planned. You must attend all the workshops so that we can actually get more support in order to do more. It is a 9-day online activity in total. Yeah. And I urge all of you, because there's so many of you have signed up for this first workshop, when I come to talk about the second workshop, I urge you also to support the second workshop and to register for tomorrow's session. It's one of the most important sessions we will organize too, because it's actually going to be applying that digital stack that I talked about. Next. So this is a series of workshops, and all of you will have access to this information. They are workshops, and we have looked at how can we dovetail between the first program and the second program that I'll talk about. How can we dovetail? But what I need to hear back from you by the end of today, do you want this at a faster pace or slow pace? Right now, it's scheduled at a fast pace. If you need it at a slow pace, we can space it out over a longer time frame. So please give us your inputs, what you would like to see. Next. Oops, just go back one slide. Now just go back one slide. In the second activity, whatever you have seen in the first activity, we are going to apply this very succinctly to disaster management. So we have the support of AHA Center here. You know, we are going to focus all of that from the logistics execution right up to the digital dashboards. We're going to focus it on disaster management. Next. So you'll see here, we have a application, and that's why I said it's very important for those of you who signed up for the first program to rethink as well and come on board in the second program, because we need suppliers, LSPs, donors, agencies, all to come together to find out what are your requirements that you want to see put into this digital stack. Yeah, because the more we can elicit those requirements, we'll have a requirements plan that actually allows us to build a minimum viable product that will then be able to be designed to go live. These companies that are talking to us this afternoon, they have all made a commitment to come on board to help build this solution. If each of you went to them, I'm sure it would, you'd get a bill for millions. But coming together, we have optimized this down to a very, very affordable level in time and effort. Next. So in the second activity, we are going to take on the left-hand side all that knowledge that we have built in the first activity, and we are going to apply it. So we're going to be able to do demand sensing, capacity and services coordination, look at the suppliers, the appropriate suppliers, pre-qualify them to come on board. And again, most importantly, build the data analytics platform in order to do that. Yeah. So we're going to do this in collaboration. So the first activity is a deep dive into what the technologies are, how can they come together. The second activity is applying this digital stack to humanitarian logistics for disaster management. Next. And again, you see these workshops dovetail with the first set of workshops. And you can go down to the next slide. Next slide. So I try to draw a network diagram because it's like the network effect. When we put these two activities together with all the companies, and these are very strong major companies, when they all come together, the network effect gets very large. And this is something that we want all of you. So join us, register for these programs. These programs are very well supported, and they're actually, more importantly, for you, they're free. But they're not free programs. They're not, folks have come together in a very organized way and sustaining it over the next 2 years to arrive at a very definite destination. And that is very key for us. So we ask you to join not only the one program, join both programs, help us to change the landscape and to create an impact which is required now more than ever. Next. So you can contact my team, you can contact me. I wanted now to move ahead with some of our distinguished guests who have been instrumental in supporting us all the way through our journey, not only now, but in the past too. And they have the faith and the confidence that we are going to arrive at this together. And the numbers speak for themselves. So far on the call, we have 271, and there's hundreds more who are actually going to join us today and tomorrow too. So this is the best opportunity that we have. I ask you and I urge you to join us in this journey starting today. Thank you. Over to you.
Thank you, Bob. Next, we would like to invite our distinguished guest and very good friend from Temasek Foundation. I believe most of you should know that Temasek Foundation is a philanthropic organization that aims to uplift lives and communities in Singapore and beyond. So now I would like to invite the Chief Executive of Temasek Foundation International, Mr. Benedict Cheong, to deliver his remarks, please.
Thank you, Young. Good morning, everyone. Honorable participants, honorable partner institutions, and your excellencies. I want to send special greetings also to His Excellency Bapak Susi Wijono, Deputy Coordinating Minister for Commerce and Industry Indonesia, and Special Advisor also to CMEA, Bapak Erwin. I will send my special greetings also to Mrs. Nongnut, Special Advisor on Foreign Affairs and the Eastern Economic Corridor Office in Thailand. Special greetings to Mr. Yong Hao Hua, Deputy Commissioner, Singapore Civil Defence Force. Also to my good friend Ibu Adelina Kamal, Executive Director, AHA Center. And to Ms. Lina Ng, Chief Investment Officer, Amata Corporation. Good morning, everyone. Allow me to say a small, short greeting to all our friends from our ASEAN community. To our friends from Brunei, Indonesia, and Malaysia, selamat pagi, welcome. To our friends from the Philippines, kamusta. To our friends from Thailand, sawadee-kap. From Vietnam, xin chào. From Cambodia, chum rip su. From Lao PDR, sabaidi. And from Myanmar, wingalaba. So welcome, and also we welcome participants and speakers from all across the world in your respective time zones. I think I can send you warm greetings from Singapore, and I hope everyone is keeping safe. So yes, Temasek Foundation is a non-profit organization set up by a Singapore investment company, Temasek. We focus on social resilience, sustainability, livability, and in the respect of these programs, international exchange and collaboration. Across Asia and beyond, we work with partners to provide a platform for leaders to exchange ideas and insights, and also to build capabilities, not just talk, but to also build capabilities in healthcare, in education, in urban management, in public sector leadership, and in crisis response. We all know that the pandemic has made transboundary coordination and cooperation much more critical. We need to exchange information, we need to learn from each other. As it is, communities in Southeast Asia already have their fair share of disasters, mainly natural ones. And in times of crisis, the need to save lives is key, and the speed of response and access to humanitarian aid is critical. Today, we are kicking start 2 programs with the Logistics Institute Asia Pacific. And I want to send greetings to Bob, as you're called, the Executive Director, Chief Executive of the Logistics Institute. We're launching these 2 programs, which are somewhat related to each other. The Disaster Management Program in Southeast Asia and the Supply Chain Program also in Southeast Asia. Both programs focus on digitalization, exploring new technologies, and applying new digital capabilities to increase the speed of logistics movement and eventually also of humanitarian aid supplies. Through this series of online courses and webinars, these 2 programs will hopefully promote learning and exchange and ideas and enable all of you to bring back something to your respective institutions and communities to build capabilities so that you can respond in future in a more timely and collective manner in times of crisis. So on the Disaster Management Program in Southeast Asia is a pilot program building technology-driven capabilities, again, to develop digital humanitarian supply chain management framework, and also stakeholder requirements analysis and proof of concept for digital dashboard for disaster management. This program, we have the honor and privilege of partnering our good friends again from the ASEAN Coordinating Center for Humanitarian Affairs, AHA for short. And AHA Center has been such a great friend of the Temasek Foundation, and we are happy to work with them again. And also the ASEAN National Disaster Management Organizations to improve supply chain management and logistics for humanitarian response across Southeast Asia. The second program is on supply chain management, and it will try to build and integrate deep and innovative digital supply chain design together with contemporary intelligent optimization capabilities. This program will enable leaders and specialists across ASEAN, especially we are working and we have the honor of working with the Coordinating Ministry of Economic Affairs, Republic of Indonesia, and the Eastern Economic Corridor Office of Thailand. And we work with them to get for this program so that our participants can gain knowledge in digital and technology-driven supply chain management, which is aligned to industry practice. Some of you may ask, why is the Temasek Foundation doing this? Why is the Temasek Foundation supporting such a program or these 2 programs? The thesis is simple. You know, in COVID, there's this worldwide saying now that no one is safe unless everyone is safe. So for us in the Temasek Foundation, on a non-COVID basis, during non-COVID times, we believe that if one part of ASEAN or Asia develops well, the others will also develop well. We believe in this prosper your neighbors of concept and theory that we need to collaborate, we need to learn from each other so that Asia and ASEAN countries in particular can grow together, prosper together. And when you get into prosperity together, you build this mutual trust that supports greater collaboration in the future. So that's our thesis. That's why we're doing this. That's why we want to be present in all these programs and to lend a bit of support. But I want to thank our valued partner, the Logistics Institute Asia Pacific, because without them, this program will never have happened. They have done all the hard work to pull it all together, to curate, as you can see, a very detailed program, a very elaborate program. And again, I join Bob in asking all of you to please make time to join all the sessions because it is not the sessions that just per se, not the speakers per se that will help in our learning. It is a learning from all of us. So in other words, this program is not just a training program. It is a program where we learn from each other. And this is the hallmark of many of the foundation, Temasek Foundation's programs. To all participants and speakers, again, let me thank you for taking time off to join us. This is so important and it's so topical at this time. We don't know when we can get out of this crisis, but we do know that we need to, continue to respond to the crisis and also prepare ourselves to get out of this crisis. It remains for me now to wish all of you a very positive and enjoyable learning experience. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Benedict Chong. Thank you for your remarks. Next, we would like to invite our distinguished guest from the Coordinating Ministry for Economic Affairs, Republic of Indonesia. CMEA has always been a very strong partner of Temasek and NUS. We thank them for their very strong support that has seen a very good turnout for this program. This morning we have with us His Excellency, Bapak Susi Wiono. Bapak, please deliver your remarks. Thank you.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Peace be upon you and Allah mercy and blessings. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Om Swastiastu, Namo Buddhaya, best regards. Good morning, may peace be with us all. The Honorable Mr. Benedict Chong, Chief Executive of Temasek Foundation International, Mrs. Mahmud Pecharatana, Special Advisor on Foreign Affairs, the Eastern Economic Corridor Office, ECO Thailand, Mr. Teong Hoa, Deputy Commissioner of the Singapore Civil Defense Force, Dr. Robert De Souza, Executive Director of the Logistics Institute, Asia Pacific National University of Singapore and team, Ms. Adelina Kamal, Executive Director of the Asian Coordinating Center for the Humanitarian Assistance on Disaster Management, AHA Center, Ms. Lena Ang, Chief Investment Officer of Amata Corporation PCL, Young Global Leader, World Economic Forum, all speakers representing respective company, E2Open, Oracle, FTAG Fintech Alliance Global Limited, SAS, Any Logistics, and YCH, and all participants. Praise to the Almighty, the Creator of the universe, for His mercy and blessing, for allowing us to get together in this very important event, the launch of Digital Urban Logistics Program in Southeast Asia. On behalf of Coordinating Ministry for Economic Affairs, I would like to welcome you all distinguished participants and guests. I would like also to express my sincere gratitude to Temasek Foundation International, and the Logistic Institute Asia Pacific, National University of Singapore, for the long cooperation and the development of human resources in logistic and supply chain that has been started since 2015. Distinguished guests, currently most countries in the world, including Southeast Asia, are facing common challenges to mitigate COVID-19 impacts. In general, those impacts include declines in the world economic activities, drops in the industrial utilization, which fall below 50%, a disruption in the global supply chain, and a rise in unemployment and poverty rate. The COVID-19 pandemic has caused behavioral changes in business, commerce, and consumer preferences, which catalyzes massive usage of digital technology. Therefore, the emergence of this pandemic will be the perfect momentum to reset and transform the economy by pushing forward the acceleration of digital transformation. Future logistics and supply chain system will lead to the establishment of an interconnected and automated digital ecosystem using technologies such as Internet of Things, IoT, big data analysis, artificial intelligence, AI, and integrated systems. Ladies and gentlemen, this phenomenon has led the Logistic Institute Asia Pacific, National University of Singapore, and Coordinating Minister for Economic Affairs initiated a capacity building program, namely Digital Urban Logistic Program in Southeast Asia, with the support from Temasek Foundation International. The main objective of this program is to increase understanding and capability of logistic human resources in the Southeast Asia region regarding various models and practices of digital supply chain management. This program will be held through a series of online workshops starting from June to September 2021. The target number of participants is around 160 people for each series of activity, coming from leaders in the government institution, state-owned enterprises, and private sectors, also lecturers, teachers, and practitioners in logistic and supply chain management. The modules that will be discussed in the workshop cover various interesting and up-to-date topics on the digitalization of logistic and supply chain management. These modules include supply chain thinking and digital practice or learning by serious gaming, control towers, visualization, supply chain analytics, and performance dashboarding, digital twin, analytic, optimization, and simulation, and also advanced technologies in supply chain management, supply chain risk, blockchain, quantum computing, and artificial intelligence or machine learning. Today, we officially launched the Digital Urban Logistics Program in Southeast Asia, and then it will be followed by a capacity building workshop presenting competent international speakers from TLIAP National University of Singapore, E2Open, Oracle, FTAG FinTech Alliance Global, SAS, AnyLogistic, and YCH. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, I would like to close my speech by conveying some expectation. The Digital Urban Logistics Program in Southeast Asia, which has been scheduled from June to September 2021, could be carried out properly and smoothly. All workshop participants can improve their understanding of digitalization in logistics and supply chains and can take advantage of this forum to expand networking and collaboration in the Southeast Asia region. Finally, on behalf of Coordinating Ministry of Economic Affairs, I would like to thank Temasek Foundation International, the Logistics Institute Asia Pacific, National University of Singapore, all speakers and participants for the good cooperation. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Thank you, Your Excellency, for your kind words. Thank you very much. Your ministry's support and partnership has been instrumental in developing and the implementation of this program. Thank you. Next, we would like to invite our distinguished guest from the Eastern Economic Corridor Office of Thailand. The Eastern Economic Corridor Office of Thailand, EECO, is a vital public agency aiming to encourage investment, uplift innovation, and advance technology in Thailand for the future generation. And we have with us today Her Excellency Nongnuch Pecharatana, former ambassador and the special advisor on foreign affairs from the EECO Thailand. Your Excellency, please.
พี่น้องนุค่ะไม่ออนนะ
Okay, good morning. Excellency Susipciono Mokioso, the Deputy Coordinating Minister for Commerce and Industry of Indonesia, distinguished speakers and participants, it's my pleasure to address this interesting forum, which we are discussing the topic, digital journey of urban logistics in Southeast Asia, which I agree it's indeed a significant topic in post-COVID recovery. And it is a timely topic for our preparedness for the future pandemic. As the previous speakers mentioned, in the past 18 months, mobility of people and global supply chains, as well as business operations around the world have been heavily disrupted. So thousands of roads, highways, as we witness, even railways and airports around the region are almost empty. But no matter how best quality and high-tech facilities in transport and logistics given in each superb location, unfortunately, I think they cannot be utilized in full capacity during the COVID crisis. But that doesn't mean that we have to slow down further investment in logistic infrastructure. Instead, this phenomenon will help us look for more tools that can help us improve the movement of goods and the conduct of business as usual amidst the ongoing pandemic crisis, which we all never know when it will be stopped. A very important tool is about technology and know-how to digitize transport and logistics in Southeast Asia. So I must commend the farsightedness of the organizers of this program, the Temasek Foundation, the National University of Singapore, Logistics Institute Asia Pacific, which put up the initiative in gathering the regulators, experts, and stakeholders to enrich their knowledge and to share new ideas which can benefit the policy making for the future logistic management in our region. And since my career background is diplomacy and business, my remarks inclined toward the regional cooperation matters. And this morning, I would like to share my observation about logistics connectivity in the mainland Southeast Asia, particularly Cambodia, Myanmar, Laos, Vietnam, and Thailand, and how these CLMVT and the whole ASEAN region's logistics can be more integrated. CLMVT, as you may know, have a lot of common synergy due to the geographical location and cultural similarities. Southeast Asian mainland has its geographical importance that connects South China Sea, the Gulf of Thailand in the east and southeast, and with the Andaman Sea and the Indian Ocean in the southwest. Sorry, I cannot put up the map for you to see, but I'm sure everybody know our geographical location. And this sub-region is connected southward to Malaysia and Singapore, and northward to reach southern China, westward to reach India. So this advantage has tremendously enlarged the potentials of CLMVT to promote land, river, and sea transport linkages with the surrounding countries. And in the last 2 decades, we have seen various infrastructure projects in this area, or we can call in the other name the Greater Mekong sub-region. These infrastructures been intensified a lot. New highways, seaports, airports, and railways have been constructed, I would say, in 100 numbers. And these are key attributes to the success of the 3 regional economic corridors. I would name them East-West Corridor, North-South Corridor, and the South-West Corridor, which cut across all CLMVT. So the fast development of transport infrastructure has made the region intricately connected well with the whole ASEAN region, and further extended to the linkage with China's BRI transport routes. To a certain extent, the physical connectivity helps facilitating cross-border trade and the mobility of people among countries in the region. It made a great impact on intra-ASEAN trade in goods and services, which has already increased significantly. And in the last several years, there has also been increasing number of special economic zones in all 5 countries in the GMS region. Some of them are well equipped and well connected with major seaports, highways, and railways within and beyond the ASEAN border. If I may mention some of the interesting logistics sites, which I had some practical experience, apart from the EEC, the Eastern Economic Corridor of Thailand, which covers more than 22 industrial zones in the 3 eastern provinces. There are also other major special economic zones in operation in the Greater Mekong sub-region. In the year 2019, I have a chance to visit Hao Lak High-Tech Park and Da Nang High-Tech Park in Vietnam, Phnom Penh Special Economic Zones located on Route 4 connecting with the Thai border, Myanmar Thilawa Special Economic Zones, and Sawanseno Special Economic Zone in Sawanakhet at the Thai-Laos border on Route 9. And that's a route running from Thailand, Laos toward Vietnam. I was also in the Botem Special Economic Area in Laos, which will soon have railway connection northward to China's Kunming. And this railway connection is coming down to reach Vientiane in the near future, as you all know, while Thailand is building Bangkok-Nong Khai high-speed rail to connect with Laos. But with all this progress being made through sub-regional cooperation in promoting connectivity, the whole region will further benefit from a rapid implementation of the ASEAN Master Plan on connectivity. This master plan, as you may have already been informed, has introduced to reinforce a more integrated ASEAN transport plan and policy through digital solution. So this should bring about a great efficiency in ASEAN logistics management, like digital trade, seamless logistics, as well as harmonizing cross-border rules and regulations, which are not yet visible in CLMVT. and have not been fully implemented in the whole ASEAN region. So these benchmarks will be very impactful on various sectors of ASEAN economies, such as trade and investment, tourism, value chain industries, green industries, healthcare, and many, many others. So, but however, the present reality is that the region is facing serious challenges brought about by the COVID-19 pandemic. And as the previous speakers mentioned before, supply chain industries become vulnerable and easy to be disrupted. Movement of goods and people across borders were suspended for a longer period. Tourism sector in ASEAN countries, particularly Thailand, suffer a big loss. And recently, G7 countries have reinvented new tax policy for multinational companies, which may spur up more worrying about deglobalization of supply chains, particularly in high-tech industries, parts and components. So how will it affect ASEAN, and will deglobalization limit ASEAN opportunities to engage profitably in the global value chain? If I may offer some views in coping with the global challenges in the post-COVID era, resilience, as Dr. Souza mentioned before, can be a key approach for our logistics planning and management to achieve a more integrated supply chain system in the region. Digital infrastructure to facilitate logistics connectivity must be expanded and upgraded region-wide. E-logistics that provide online service for cross-border trade, e-commerce, e-customs clearance, and financial transaction through electronic system should be introduced without delay within Southeast Asia. Integrated digital data in warehousing, inventories, freight forwarding, suppliers, rules and regulation, and several others are needed to create a platform for e-logistics. And it is believed that in the long run, digital logistics will reduce costs and increase more efficiency in the cross-border transport of goods and people. It will also give similar benefit in the supply chain management and business services. Digitizing trade data will also largely reduce carbon footprint and promote data transparency in the regional trade. So the cooperation on digital infrastructure should therefore be deepened and widened to affect a great inflows of trade and investment beyond ASEAN borders. It may be a right time to focus more on ASEAN Plus or the major economic partners nearby, like China, Japan, South Korea, India, Hong Kong, Taiwan, Australia. Another important reality is that in the post-pandemic, investment location decision may not weigh much in a logistic connectivity advantage. The factors like proximity of resources and markets, local suppliers, R&D, technology, and customers' preferences can be influential in the investor's decision to locate their production. Apart from this, sustainable and green logistics has become mainstream in global policy, as we all been aware. So therefore, logistic management that is accountable to low carbon and zero emission, renewable energy, and smart cities will certainly become a new trend in ASEAN region. Please allow me a few minutes to take a quick look at the Eastern Economic Corridor of Thailand, which is designed to be a multimodal logistic hub in this region with two deep sea ports, Lam Chabang and Mat Taput. We have Utapao International Airport and the high-speed train linking the three international airports in Bangkok and the EC. All these logistic infrastructure projects are being upgraded and constructed duly to be completed in the next 4 or 5 years. Bio-circular green concept has been applied to EC future industries like green technology and innovation. They are major focus. The 5G network is now available in the EC area. That will enhance capacity for automated production e-mobility for passengers, local traffic management, smart city planning, and also the 5G service has also given further potential, I believe, to digitize trade and data across all sectors in EC and the whole country. And as we are moving forward, the EC will stay connected with our neighbors in ASEAN for our win-win cooperation. In concluding my remarks, logistics without digital technology in the post-COVID era will lose competitiveness. This would be my emphasis. Several experts, national planners, and policymakers would share similar views. For ASEAN to stay intricately connected, strengthening digital connectivity is more than necessary. So digitalization will keep ASEAN more relevant and retain regional potentials to be a sustainable and innovative production base amidst the changing business environment. The urgent tasks for the region to smooth out our digital journey to urban logistics are several. I would mention some which I think they are important. ASEAN single window or e-customs, e-logistics integrating, and also the integrating signaling in railways in ASEAN. E-pass and e-visa should take priority in ASEAN's national plans. Fostering regional cooperation in this area will not only boost confidence in investment and trade, but also enable ASEAN to keep supply chains flowing, particularly for essential goods such as medicines, health, and food supplies. It is important to keep the ASEAN transport logistics well prepared for the future pandemic by stepping up the common effort to eliminate unnecessary trade restrictions and enhance rules and regulations to allow regional emergency assistance during the outbreak. I would end my remarks at this point, and I wish the program to have a successful deliberation throughout, and thank you, you all for your kind attention.
Thank you, Your Excellency, for your remarks. We thank you very much for your office and your support of the Temasek Foundation program, and we look forward to many more exciting collaborations with your office in the future. Thank you. Next, we would like to invite our distinguished guest from the Singapore Civil Defence Force. As some of you know, Singapore Civil Defence Force is currently the chair of the ASEAN Committee on Disaster Management. We have with us this morning the Deputy Commissioner of the Singapore Civil Defence Force, Mr. Tiong Hau Hua. Mr. Tiong, please.
Thank you, Yong. Good morning, everyone. Your Excellency Susi Wijono Mogiarso, Deputy Coordinating Minister for Commerce and Industry, the Coordinating Ministry for Economic Affairs, Republic of Indonesia, Your Excellency Mrs. Nonut Petcharatana, Special Advisors on Foreign Affairs, the Eastern Economic Corridor Office of Thailand, Dr. Robert De Souza, Dr. Bok, the Executive Director of the Logistics Institute, Asia Pacific National University of Singapore, Mr. Benedict Chong, Chief Executive Temasek Foundation, Ms. Adelina Kamal, Executive Director of the ASEAN Coordinating Center for Humanitarian Assistance on Disaster Management, AHA Center, Ms. Lina Ng, Chief Investment, Amata Corporation, PCL. Greetings from warm Singapore, and I'm pleased to witness the official launch of the Future Digital Dashboard for Crisis Management program today. And this program is jointly organized by the National University of Singapore, the Logistics Institute Asia Pacific, and the ASEAN Coordinating Center for Humanitarian Assistance on Disaster Management. And on behalf of the ASEAN Committee on Disaster Management, the ACDM, I would like to thank the organizers, the Temasek Foundation, as well as all organizations for supporting this morning's program. And now we know that when we drive our car down the highway, we must not just look into the road ahead of us, but also keep our eyes on the dashboards. And these days, many of our dashboards have already progressed from analog to digital ones, and they come with technologically advanced features giving us analytics of the vehicle's performance, the GPS location on top of the speedometer or the fuel gauges readings. And just like the car dashboard, which holds important information about the vehicles, the digital dashboards for crisis management will help us better prepare for our future so that we can reach our destination speedily, safely, and undisrupted. ASEAN has made great advancement in the field of disaster management over the past decade. The region envisions itself as a global leader in disaster management as underscored by the ASEAN ministers in the ASEAN Vision 2025 on disaster management. There is also a strong desire by the region to connect relevant stakeholders and strengthen partnership in disaster management. And one of these areas that we can benefit from is the partnership and collaboration on technology transfer. Technology serves as an enabler for organizations to improve and strengthen capabilities to predict, prepare, prevent, and respond to disasters. And development in smart technologies, like many of the speakers who said earlier, from artificial intelligence, machine learning, blockchains, IoTs, 5Gs, all of these have shown tremendous potential in enabling organizations to better process information and sharpen our operational edge. And this program by NUS and AHA Center comprises a series of online workshops that will provide an overview of digital humanitarian logistics and supply chain management in ASEAN. Organizations would be able to explore the use of available technology and tools to exchange information on assets and capabilities with various stakeholders. The programs also seek inputs from various stakeholders to develop a digital dashboard that can connect ASEAN member states' national disaster management organizations with various parties involved in disaster management, including essential suppliers to ensure timely logistic response. So by partnering with stakeholders, by harnessing technology and innovation, ASEAN can improve our resiliency to disasters, including health disasters like COVID-19. So to all participants, I hope you pay attention to the digital dashboards while driving down this journey so that we can steer our destination to where we want to go. And I wish you a fruitful journey of learning and discussion ahead. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Tiong Hao Hua, for your remarks. Next, we have with us Ms. Adelina Kamal, the Executive Director of the ASEAN Coordinating Center for Humanitarian Assistance on Disaster Management, or AHA Center. As all of us know, AHA Center has been a very key partner organization on this Temasek Foundation-supported disaster management program. So now I would like to invite Ms. Adelina Kamal to deliver her remarks, please.
Thank you very much, Mr. Yong, for the kind introduction. Greetings, good morning, selamat pagi, greetings from the home of One ASEAN One Response. My name is Adelina Kamal and I am the Executive Director of the AHA Center. As probably some of you may know, AHA Center is the specialized regional coordinating agency set up by the 10 ASEAN countries almost 10 years ago to facilitate ASEAN collective response to major catastrophic disasters. We are reporting to the 10 ASEAN countries, and in particular, the National Disaster Management Organization in Singapore, represented by the Singapore Civil Defence Force, in Indonesia, represented by BNPB, Badan Penanggulangan Bencana Nasional. And many of the National Disaster Management representatives are here with us today. AHA Center is also has been tasked to promote not only coordination in terms of One ASEAN One Response, but also to promote collaboration. So we're working very closely with the partners, and that include the Temasek Foundation. So that is just a nutshell about the AHA Center. But first of all, let me greet the Excellency Deputy Coordinating Minister Susi Wijono Mugiarso, Excellency Nongnus Pecharatana, Deputy Commissioner Teong of ACDF as chair of the ACDM, our partner NUS Logistics Institute, Dr. Bob, our supporters Temasek Foundation, Pak Benedict Chong, as well as Ms. Lina Ng. Thank you for inviting the AHA Center to speak in today's joint program. I think it's a really good idea, Pak Bob and Mr. Yong, for organizing this in one session so that we can learn from each other, from the economic sector of ASEAN and how they apply logistic for that purpose, as well as the other way around. And congratulations for getting more than 300 participants for today's launch. AHA Center in particular are excited because tomorrow we're going to launch together with the NUS and supported by Temasek Foundation the first ever of the series of training on digitalizing humanitarian logistics. Since much has been said by the others, so I would like just to convey just a few key points relevant to the AHA Center. First, when we talk about digitalizing humanitarian logistics, there are three keywords here. Digital, that is basically technology, and then humanitarian, right? And then logistic. In this equation, however, technology is the enabler. Technology is part of the efforts to solve problems, to find solution to the humanitarian logistic problems. Therefore, our inventions and innovation should be driven by our problems and should be actually centered on the problems that we want to serve, right? That we want to solve. So I like the infographic shown by Dr. Bob, that shows, okay, we'll start with diving into the problems because that's what we want to do. Finding what the problems are, then design the solution, design the dashboard or whatever system that we're going to come up later as part of this joint initiative. So what are the problems? What are the problems in Southeast Asia as well as other parts of the world? Based on our experience, AHA Center experience, responding to 36 major large-scale disaster in ASEAN region in the past 9 years, we're almost 10 years, by the way. At least there are three problems that we often encounter on the ground when it comes to humanitarian logistics. And I think this is not only unique to ASEAN, it's also happening in other parts of the world. First is the speed of getting the assistance to the beneficiaries. In essence, the time. Second is the scale. And that means the right quantity that we want to provide to the beneficiaries. And third is the quality. And that could include, and that also means a system provided is actually needed by the beneficiaries, right? So basically getting the required assistance at the right time in the right amount of quality and standard required by the beneficiaries. The problem, however, that we often encounter on the ground is that we either receive too many things that are not needed, or they get stuck in one place, such as the airport, for too long, right? Or enough assistance, not enough assistance reaches the people, the beneficiaries, in a quick manner, right? Or quick enough. The problem is also often a mismatch. Often, while the intention of the providers is good, is a goodwill, people tend to offer what they have in their stockpiles, what they can offer, and not necessarily what the beneficiaries need and want. So it's kind of like a supply-driven ecosystem. So in the case of AHA Center, what is AHA Center? It has a long name, ASEAN Coordinating Center for Humanitarian Assistance on Disaster Management. I need two breaths, right, just to spell it out. But if there is one thing that we need to remember, AHA Center also stands for ASEAN Help ASEAN. We are the primary ASEAN Regional Coordinating Agency for Disaster Management and Emergency Response. We are the home of One ASEAN One Response. AHA Center has also been tasked as the manager of logistic called DELSA, Disaster Emergency Logistics System for ASEAN, DELSA. Yeah, and currently it consists of regional stockpiles and warehouses in three locations. We have the first one, the regional stockpile of DELSA in Subang, Malaysia, and then we also have in the Philippines. We call it satellite warehouse to serve the Philippines and Vietnam. And then we have the third one in Thailand, in China, serving the Mekong region. And all of these are operational. They have been mobilized to major catastrophes in ASEAN region, including the two satellite warehouses, which have been set up recently. They have actually been mobilized, including to support the COVID-19 response. So, as the home of One ASEAN One Response and the primary regional coordinating agency, AHA Center's success indicator is defined not by how much we mobilize resources that are under our care, but how well we can coordinate and facilitate ASEAN collective response to disaster, ASEAN assistance, including not only the resources under the DELSA, under our care, but also those of partners and stakeholders. Now, so what is the problem? I talked about the problems earlier, the speed, the scale, and the quality, right? The mismatch of resources coming to the disaster-affected areas. I'll give you one example. In the case of triple disasters in Central Sulawesi, one of the most complex disasters that we have ever responded to in 2018, the value of relief items mobilized from our DELSA regional stockpile in the three networks, in the three locations that I've mentioned earlier, is actually pretty low compared to the other responses in the ASEAN region, which is good. Why? Because it actually underlined the primary role of AHA Center as a coordinating agency, not as a provider. The AHA Center and our ASEAN Emergency Response and Assessment Team, which is actually regional responders coming from the 10 ASEAN countries, were actually much more needed to support coordination in three locations. In Jakarta, to help manage offers of international assistance, supporting the government of Indonesia, in particular BNPB, in the staging area, working with the UN, international partners. Many of them are here with us today, as well as the armed force, as well as the military, and then also on the ground in Palu. So we mobilized ASEAN ERAD and AHA Center to do coordination, including humanitarian logistics. But we didn't actually use much of the regional stockpile because there were times when we were told that enough family tents, no more, because we have enough already from others. So AHA Center, no need to send family tents anymore. So coordination is really important, and that's actually the heart of AHA Center. There is coordination. We also observed when we were requested by the government of Indonesia to help manage offers of international assistance, that although and even after the affected country already declared that there will be only 4 types of assistance, required, in the end, many of what were offered were those that were not being asked or prioritized. Okay, so again, it's about offer, supply, mismatch, and all of the issues and problems that I've mentioned. So what I expect from today's forum and tomorrow's training, the first ever training on digitalizing humanitarian logistics, and also from our ongoing collaboration with the NUS and Temasek, is to help us solve these problems. Yeah, because again, when we try to come up with a digital dashboard, right, to come to the end of destination, like BC Tiong said, then it has actually it needs to be based on what the problems that we want to solve. Okay, so what I expect is to solve the problems. For us, we want to go beyond the DELSA network, and we want to make sure that we can actually exercise our mandate as the regional coordinating agency fully, right? And even in our most recent study, the sustainability study that we conduct under the purview of the ASEAN Committee on Disaster Management, the study actually revealed that we need to go hybrid. We need to, we can maintain the DELSA network in the 3 locations, the warehouses and the stockpiles, but we also need to move towards e-procurement or digitalizing, whatever that we will come up with the system later on. And that will be the future, although we will do that not now, but it will take some years towards that. So we can call it the solution to this problem could be a digital solution. It could be the digital dashboard or e-platform, but whatever it is important that this platform, right, can help scale up resources, solve the problems basically, to scale up the resources, match the resources with what is needed, speed up the delivery, cut layers, because normally there are many layers in between, reduce costs, and increase accountability and transparency. And all of this actually can be done with the help of technology. And technology will also help scale up the providers, those who can be the supporting elements and can help also reach out to a wider audience. Some may call it the digital dashboard. I will call it digital humanitarian logistic platform. But I would like to also hope that certain elements are present in this dashboard. One is that it is a collaborative system with different stakeholders that can connect supply and demand. It should be demand-driven ecosystem, not supply-driven ecosystem, not top-down. It should be putting the beneficiaries at the heart, because it's not. Remember, digitalizing humanitarian and human should be at the center, of our effort, and it should be interconnected. There should be elements relying on each other, and there should not be only some bigger players, controlling the tower. No, cannot be like that, or controlling the whole system. It should be interconnected, so then it will actually push or promote collaboration later on, and also create a check balance and ensure accountability and transparency. Now, as the primary regional coordinating agency designated by the ASEAN leaders for One ASEAN, One Response, AHA Center will be the convener. You have seen the scheme shown by Dr. Bob. AHA Center will be the convener of this collaborative digital humanitarian logistic platform, because we are the operational coordinating agency, and particularly for large-scale catastrophic disasters that will require ASEAN solidarity. While we are the convener, the deal makers should be the different elements in the ecosystem that actually are interconnected to one another, that are collaborating to one another. And this model, while we are actually building it for regional purpose, can also be replicated later on at the country level. At the end of the day, the end game, the final destination, is to realize ASEAN countries that are more reliant on ourselves and a region, ASEAN region, that is more resilient. That is the end game. And when we talk about this collaborative digital ecosystem that is interconnected, right, that is having these diverse stakeholders in it, is actually the reflection of One ASEAN, One Response. So thank you. I look forward to this joint endeavor. And I thank you for all the participants who have registered. We look forward to your ideas. It's not only training, but it's actually building a car, building a digital dashboard that will actually lead us for ASEAN to become a more disaster resilient region. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Adelina Kamal, for your remarks. We look forward to your continued strong support for this Temasek program and to working very closely with your excellent team in AHA Center to implement the program. Thank you very much. Next, we would like to invite our distinguished guest, Ms. Lina Ng, who is currently the Chief Investment Officer from Amata Corporation. She's also the Young Global Leader, World Economic Forum. Ms. Lina Ng has been instrumental in setting up the Logistics Institute Asia Pacific many years ago, and she has also helped us build links and partnerships with many organizations in Thailand. We would like to take this opportunity to thank her. Ms. Lina Ng, over to you, please.
Sawadika. Thank you so much, Hui Yong, for the good introduction. Sawadika, selamat pagi, sabaidi, Jin Chao. I think I can't speak as many as Mr. Benedict Chong because I think he's very linguistic, very talented. First of all, I would like to express my appreciation to all the sponsored organizer and also to all the distinguished guests. His Excellency Susi Wijono Moyagaso. I hope I pronounced it correctly. I think he inspired me with his speech this morning, and Her Excellency Ms. Nunu, because she's always full of energy, as I mentioned to you. And we also have Dr. Robert, our old friend, and Mr. Tiong Hao Hua, and also the earlier speaker, Ms. Adelina. I'm very, very inspired by her positivity and then her building the car, to help the whole of ASEAN. So today I would like to share with you some things that are very, very important besides on the technology. I have some slides. I would like to show you the slides because I'm very much aware that I'm in between you and your break, right? So, but please bear with me. Can you see the slide? Can you see the slide?
Yes, we can.
Okay, sorry.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So you see, a lot of people are talking about IT and then logistics and then the urban logistics side. I think just now Hui Yong has mentioned that actually I was part of the team that bring in the TLIEP. In fact, 25 years ago, I graduated from the National University of Singapore. It's the first batch of logistics major. At the time, there's no logistics at all. The term is very foreign, but 25 years ago, and I always remember because there's only two lady or two female in the cohort, right? So I'm one of them. I think the journey has been very exciting, although I didn't really go and join a logistic company. I first started with the Singapore government to work on the Singapore Logistic Master Plan. So that was actually a very big project, and thanks to all my friends, right? Currently, I see a lot of friends in this event, right, that has known me for very long. They're old friends, not because they're old, but because they know me for more than 2 decades old, right? So to really move forward to today's sharing, right, I would like to bring in what Ms. Nongmut has mentioned earlier about the Greater Mekong sub-region, what are some of the logistics opportunities? Because as the Chief of Investment in Amata Corporation, a lot of people will always ask me, show me the money. What are the opportunities, right? What are the opportunities that are awaiting for us in logistics in the Greater Mekong sub-region? Of course, definitely there will be Indonesia, but I'm not an expert in Indonesia, so I have to focus on the Greater Mekong sub-region. So what exactly is the Greater Mekong sub-region? Actually, the Greater Mekong sub-region comprises of 6 countries, more than 300 million population, including certain parts of China, including inland areas, right? So Myanmar, Laos, Vietnam, Cambodia, Thailand, right? So this country itself, if you look at it, is very, very strategic. Why? Because of the market, right? It spans across 2.3 million square kilometer, huge land bank, right? And then also the inherent million of population, which is rising second in terms of the rising income group, and then this middle income population and comprising a lot of the generation Y as well, right? Which they like to spend, right? I think so. Looking at all this, these are the opportunities. So if you look at my agenda today, I would like to really bring across a message to say, when we look at crises, right? In Chinese they said 危机, crisis means crisis plus opportunity in Chinese. But what are some of the key drivers, right, of the Greater Mekong sub-region logistic opportunities? So I've identified a few, right? China-US trade tension, post-COVID transformation, the Belt and Road Initiative. So some will be asking me, Lina, this look very negative. Are you sure these are key drivers? So if you look at it, right, the China and US trade tension, right, since the former President Donald Trump period, has been very, very tense. Right now, I think under the President Joe Biden administration, their policies still have not changed, and they could not just change, right? So there will still be a lot of tension, right, with regards to the rising China phenomenon. So if you have followed the G7 summit, right, that was, I think, just 1 week ago, you will realize that there's also some inclinations within the G7 on the China impact. Right? So what are some of these opportunities, right? Why am I talking about opportunities when there are tensions, right? So if you look at, these are all the food produced, right? I mean, the beef, from US, and then this is China. And then when you look at the beef from the US, and they will slam on each other in terms of trade tariff, right? With regards to agriculture, with regards to food. But you see, all these products will have the transport and logistics, right? This is the part whereby they're taking the sea freight, right? So I like this cartoon depict of how the tension will prevent, certain of this product flow. Because when I first learned logistics 25 years ago, there's always 3 things about logistics: goods flow, funds flow, people flow. So goods flow, that is very important because that's where you take, right, multimodal transformation and all these things. So what are some of these opportunities that due to the China-US trade tension? Because China will look at ASEAN not only in terms of the supply but a very key market for them to also look into their products, right? So everybody would have used the Lazada or a lot of the Shopee application. You would know some of the products these days are so amazing. They come all the way from China, and it takes maybe just less than a week, right? How is this possible with the high logistics cost, right? So what has been the revamp, right? I think especially with regards to technology. So if you look at the next slides, what are some of the post-COVID, right? People are looking at COVID. People are not very happy about the whole situation. I have been working from home for almost 12 weeks, and Dr. Robert, So working from home, right? There's a sort of opportunities, but I think we still remain as positive. So I'm a positive person, and when I look at post-COVID, there are some key transformation, right? Because it won't be the same again as before, right? Pre-COVID situation. So there will be transformation. And what are these transformation? We will look at relocation of some of these factories, right? Probably from China and then going to ASEAN, right? Some of it will be captured in the GMS. Some of it definitely will go to Indonesia because they have a huge market. And then people will also rethink supply chain. Why would people need to rethink supply chain? Because you cannot put all your eggs in one basket anymore. You know, because due to the COVID situation, many or some of the factories have been forced to shut down temporarily because of supply chain disruption. So if you are a manufacturer, you will need to see, right, in terms of future pandemic, future problem, how to actually minimize the supply chain disruption. So you will not put all your eggs in one basket. You will not only focus in one country, right, in ASEAN. You would like to look into your SKU and how to distribute properly. The third, you have the e-commerce and urban logistics. Because you're stuck at home, you have nothing to do, right? You can't even go out to shopping, right? So you will have a lot of the e-commerce and to get the goods. And once you tasted honey, I can tell you, I've seen many people who are men, not women, who are shopping, online shopping more than the women, I can tell you. So there is a huge transformation in terms of the shopping. That is very to be close to 50, right? In another 2 years. So I will definitely value my health, right? Because I would like to look good, really be good, and then also feel good. So if you look at overall, right, the third element that I want to share, which is very important,